Have you ever thought about how your habits at work quietly shape the way you show up at home that night? Give me a yes if this sounds like your day, powering and racing to get through your workday. You're skipping lunch, you're jumping from call to call, you're pushing through to get it all done. And then by the time you get home, you're fried. You're there physically, but not fully present. You just don't have much left to give for the people that you love and the things that you love the most. So if you run on empty by the time you get home from a long work day, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to help you discover how tiny moments of rest through your workday can help you to be more productive. And more importantly, so that you can end up having the energy, the patience, and the presence for what matters most at home. So hi, I'm Sharon McCall. I'm a stress recovery coach with Whispering Fields Wellness, if we haven't met before. And I help high achieving professionals like you to reduce stress at work, boost energy, restore focus, and find better balance. One of the ways that I help to do this is to help individuals design work rhythms that allow them to work with peace and not pressure. And even when you're at work, this is a core part of my philosophy. I fully believe that God calls us to Him. Integrating faith at work, that's the path to work-life harmony. So you can be successful at work without sacrificing your well-being or your family. And if you've ever felt like success at work is costing you too much at home or stealing your energy, stay with me. I've been there, and there is a better way. So I'm just curious. Drop in the chat the number of work days, just in a typical week, where you're emotionally or mentally unavailable by the time you get home. I'll give a moment for the chat to get through. Let me share a little bit of my own answer. Back in the day when I was working for corporate and in the depths of my workaholism, it really felt like it was almost every day. I'd be home, but so distracted by work, I just really wasn't fully present. And then by Fridays, it was the worst. I'd be completely tapped out. I'd be crashed out asleep on the couch by 8 p.m. And if it was a week that I had to travel, it was even worse. I'd get home and be done. So I get how work can end up taking over and just so much of your time and your energy. So if you're catching this on a replay, I will still catch up in the comments. I would love to hear from you and just to know where you're at. So let's get into talking about how you work. What's going on to explain why you're so exhausted. And it really has to do with this pace that you're running at, how hard you're running through the day. So one of the things I talk about people a lot is, what if rest wasn't a waste of your time during your workday? Like many salaried folks, I'm sure you've come up with some different beliefs through the course of your working. Some of the different things that I've heard over the years: there's no time, I've got too much to do, there's always one more thing, or I'm going to get judged. Only lazy, gossipy people take a break and stand around the water cooler and talk about the latest show. That's not me. I don't want anybody thinking that I'm one of those people. Maybe you're one of them that thinks, I can do anything that I just put my mind to. I refuse to be overcome by bodily weakness. So even though I'm tired and I'm hungry, screw that. I got stuff to do. I'm going to just keep going. I've also run into folks that thought that they needed to take care of serving others before themselves. The self-sacrificing achiever. I've always got to make sure everyone else comes before me. And another one that I've heard is, once I get done with my list, rest is a reward. So maybe it's a break with a piece of chocolate on it, or It's just going and doing something really relaxing that you enjoy or is fun. List is he's creating the world, the universe. And as he goes through each day, he recognizes what's good. He takes that pause. And then at the end of the week, he takes the Sabbath rest. And we get reminded about this as Jesus says that Sabbath was made for man. This is all about us making sure that we can rest, that we're not just constantly going after the things of man at full tilt, that we're making room for things of God and connecting with God through the course of the day. Another way to think about it is before modern life, with all of the bright lights and artificial lighting and heating and cooling and everything, we lived in a world where everything we did was based upon light and dark. So with candles and oil lamps, we didn't stay up super late as humans. That wasn't that many generations ago. So because we didn't have those modern conveniences, it ensured that we got rest every day. So with the pace of life, modern life it's crazy busy, it's hectic. So it's going to end up requiring intention to find peace and harmony and to make those connections. And that's where that wisdom is. So as you think about this, what if pausing during your workday, it actually makes you feel better at work and at home? Let me know your thoughts. So let me tell you a story. There's someone that I worked with. I'm just going to call her Sally for today's story. She added a short walk and a check-in prayer at lunchtime. Her lunch could have been at 4 p.m. It could have been at 11, kind of depending on her schedule. Maybe it was just a quick inhale, but she made sure that she added a short walk and check-in prayer. She tried to set it up so it was at least 10 minutes for herself, completely disconnecting from everything. That was her goal. And once she put that into place, she didn't realize how much that tiny pause in her day, it gave her so much more patience with her team. And that meant that she had plenty left for her kids so she could end up enjoying the evening with her kids. So just thinking about a short period of time, what's 3 minutes? Doesn't even have to be 10 minutes. What's 3 minutes that you could reclaim for yourself so that you're not arriving at home just completely spent and fried? So in Sally's case, it wasn't just about 10 minutes and finding 10 minutes in her schedule. Once she was able to end up getting that break and stopping all that internal pressure and just getting that pause and reconnecting with God, it had so many more dividends even during the workday. She was more patient with the people on her team and around her. She was in a better mood. So when both of those are true, and there's just a lot less tension. You're not going home thinking all frustrated and feelings wound up. So there were some additional dividends from her day running smoothly. Being able not to hit mental overload and fry her brain with constantly working on problems, getting that break. It meant she had the clarity to be creative, to be strategic. So she was able to get things solved more effectively and efficiently. So this break impacted her at work, but then in some of these secondary areas, it ensured that there was less that got carried at home. And that was the same thing that I'd found, is that once you find these little moments for yourself, you've got less that you're carrying, that less of the crud of the day that you're carrying home, and that's negatively impacting your ability to be fully present with your loved ones. And these things too, they do drain your energy anytime your day's not going smoothly, right? So what are some different ways that you think your evenings would change if you were less drained by the time you got done with your workday. Like I said, I'd love to see some of these things in the chat. So if you're not comfortable with putting out something in the chat, feel free just to send me a message or just think it for yourself. I really do want to make sure that I can help you to find more peace and more focus in your day. So we're getting close to wrapping up for today, and I'm just hope that you can end up seeing that finding that right rhythm of work and rest, even if it's just can serve you at work and serve you at home, because God's called us to make sure that we can end up being good spouses and parents. We have so much to do that's outside of just our work life. So we don't want to end up putting all of our energy and time just into our work. So finding that right rhythm can really help us to have just such a much more thriving and fulfilling life. So as I wrap up today, let's go ahead and close in prayer. Lord, you see how we're pulled in so many directions. Teach us rhythms that protect not just our focus, but our hearts and spirit. We can pour into our work, yet not be emptied for everything else. Help us to meet with you during the workday so we can carry more peace home. Amen. And keep in mind, you don't need that full overhaul to find peace. So if you're not quite so sure what that one small intentional shift is, let's find it together. Just book your free peace and focus starter session, and I'll help you redesign just one part of your work routine so that you can protect your energy and still be successful at work and have the energy that you need to thrive at home. So if you're ready, just type reset in the chat and I'll send you the link privately. So just closing out today, remember, how you work, it shows up in your life at home. So you have some choices to make if you want to enjoy more energy and be more present at home. So next week, we'll explore about how bringing your faith into your workday, it just unlocks so much more peace and balance. Until then, may rhythms reflect grace and may you come home with something left to give. Have a blessed day.